Performance for a Dubs team that was playing well beforehand. Now can they keep it going down the stretch of the season?
9-2. That is the number right there. 9-2. They're on a streak. They're getting some momentum, and this is exactly what they need as they roll towards the playoffs. You're really impressed with what the Warriors did tonight, not only on offense, being able to find some different offensive opportunities outside of Steph and Curry, but also still being able to do the things they need to do inside the paint, particularly rebound.
And a big reason why the Warriors were successful in the paint was the play of Trayce Jackson-Davis. My goodness, he provided such a spark off the bench in the first half. 13 points in 5 minutes, and that's exactly why he's our BMW Ultimate Performer from today's game. Talk about just him injecting some life, his ability to catch off the lob. I mean, what stood out to you when you watched him play?
Trayce Jackson-Davis is exactly what the Warriors need to vertically space the floor. That elevation, that ability to get through traffic and finish in contact, that's what the Warriors have needed for a few years, actually. And what you love is that he's such a huge target. He makes himself a good target. He's looking for the ball, and he's smart on defense. He has been making some really key rotations and being able to find himself in the right position on the floor. And that's what you want out of a young player that is starting to have more of an impactful role in that big position.
The big thing that stood out to me was those defensive adjustments and knowing where to be on the floor. He had a block in the second quarter where he had just the exact right timing, where he slid over on the help side, didn't make himself vulnerable, but was able to get the block. Very effective, and really just a high IQ basketball player, especially for a rookie, to be able to read the floor like that. Has he earned himself a regular spot in this Warriors rotation? Because this was the first game where he was playing in double-digit minutes this month.
Absolutely. You can see Steve Kerr is still tinkering with this lineup, these rotations, and as they go into the second half of this season, you can imagine that things are going to solidify a little bit. And one of the things that has been very, very key and crucial has been size. Being able to have someone that can come in, play big, and play smart. And that's what Trayce Jackson-Davis has been doing a better job of. So I anticipate him, especially alongside of Draymond, which we saw a little bit of in the last few games, and then also Dario Saric, him bringing that size, again, that athleticism and that vertical spacing ability.
Another player who brought his size, athleticism, ability to get in the paint was Andrew Wiggins. He finishes with 20 points, 3 boards, so much better at attacking the basket. It's like we're getting 2022 Wiggs again, which is exactly what this Warriors team is needed as well. What has changed for him in this new year?
It looks like confidence. It looks like his game. He is locked in. Every single time he's gotten the ball, especially since Draymond has come back. I don't know if it's directly correlated or just a coincidence, but he has been so confident whenever he gets his hand on the ball. You know that Andrew Wiggins is going to do the things that he's supposed to do. He's going to go offensive crash the glass. He's going to make sure that he's getting on his biggest defender, or excuse me, playing big defense against the biggest offensive opponent. He's going to go do those things. But what you love is him cutting across the paint hard and getting to the block and calling for the ball. There's something to be said. When you're out on the court right now and you're cutting through the paint, when a player cuts through the paint and you're a defender and they're calling for it aggressively, something goes through your mind. Like, oh, they're about to do something when they catch the ball. If someone goes through the paint lackadaisical and they're just kind of like, chilling, cutting through, just trotting through, you're not as concerned about them. And Draymond Green said something after the game, you got to keep the defense honest. And that's what Andrew Wiggins' game has been doing. He cuts through the paint, he cuts through the offense, he finds himself in positions on the floor in a way that the defense has to respect his game. And I think that's the biggest difference, the confidence and making defenders respect him.
It's basketball 101 when you're growing up, right? They teach you have to cut hard to make the defense believe you.
I've heard that so many times.
Yeah, right? It's something that might ring a bell for you, yourself, the former hooper. But for Andrew Wiggins, what's going to be the key for him going down this final stretch of the season to continue this type of success?
Consistency. That is the number one thing that people have struggled with when it comes to Andrew Wiggins. When I say people, I mean fan base, the team even, just thinking about how can we continue to see this level of Andrew Wiggins, the Wiggins that helped the Warriors get that championship in 2022. His ability to cut through the paint, to be offensive-minded, to be a huge defender, all of these things are what makes him such a special player. And so his ability to keep that going through the rest of this season and not have a dip, not have a regression, that's going to be huge for the Warriors.
Going back to the Utah Jazz game before the break, Andrew Wiggins put up 19 points. So far stacking together back-to-back strong performances. Hopefully he can keep this momentum moving forward. Now let's hear from Andrew Wiggins after the game on the podium.
Andrew, what's been clicking the last couple of weeks for you? feel like I just found a good rhythm. And put in work, practice, getting extra shots up, just, feeling good about myself, and the team is rolling right now. Everyone on the team is, we're all playing together, playing the right way, and, we're figuring something out that could be special.
What's the energy for you guys been like over the last 11 games where you've won 9 times versus when things were kind of south in the first half of the year?
It's great. Winning brings the best out of everybody. Everyone's happy when we win, and, when you lose, it's not as fun.
Andrew, I'm sure maybe at other points in your career you've gone through what you might call a little rut or a little dry spell, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
How did you just mentally keep saying, okay, I'm putting up the shots, this is going to come around, I just got to stay with the process, so to speak?
Yeah, you just got to keep believing in yourself, and, and I know what I can do, and I've been in the league for 10 years now, so I know what I can do and what I can't do, and I know it just, take time and, find the right things that work for me again, and I knew everything would be okay.
And Clay is not maybe shooting the way he wants to right now. Do you guys chat at all, or in practice I know you're not always on the same court, but just supporting each other, saying, okay, Clay, keep firing it?
For sure. You have to. That's a good way to get out of a slump, is just, keep shooting, keep believing in yourself. And, Clay is one of the best shooters of all time. To me, it's Steph and then him. So I believe in him. I know the team believes in him. And we all know what he can do.
It seems like the starting lineup with Draymond at center, a little bit more space, a little bit more opportunities to find mismatches. Do you feel that as a player, and is that kind of a lineup that you feel more comfortable in?
For sure. Draymond on the floor, he makes the whole team better. He makes everyone better around him. On the defensive side and the offensive side, he's has one of the highest IQs in the league. And, it shows out there in the court.
You love to see that smile just start creeping up on Andrew Wiggins' face. When he has like the all-out grin, that's when you know we're in prime Andrew Wiggins. There you saw like a little bit of a smirk. But any major takeaways from anything that Wiggins said after the game? And I think just the way that he's carrying himself right now. He
said, got to keep shooting. You got to keep believing in yourself. And I think that that's what was picking up on Andrew Wiggins, was this almost, I don't know, desperate feeling of, I don't know what I'm doing out here, or it just seemed like he wasn't all the way himself when you would watch him play. But you knew he was in there somewhere, because he would still have 100% effort on all the other things and elements of his game. And so it's really nice to be able to see it all come together, not only his offensive game, but also his defensive and his ability to do all the other little things that are really helpful for the Warriors.
To me, Andrew Wiggins could be the key for the Warriors down the stretch, because his ability to attack inside, score, be a threat, keep the defense honest, also opens things up for the players around him, like Steph Curry, who went off in the first half of this game, 25 points, 5 of 7 from beyond the arc. What was it about the way the defense was playing him that allowed him to find these shots?
Well, the thing is, Stephen Curry, it doesn't matter how you play him. He's going to find a way to get to his spot, and if he can't get to his spot, he's going to find a way to distribute and find a way for his teammates to get to their spots. Yeah, you got 32 points, a game high, but you also have 8 assists, and this is what he does. Now, there was a little bit of a concern on my end, because in the beginning of the game, you saw him have 16 points and no one else around him have any more than 5. And so you were a little concerned, is this the old Warriors creeping back up after this All-Star break? This is back, the burden is back on Curry's shoulders. No. Of course, Trayce Jackson-Davis came in, did his thing. Andrew Wiggins came in, did his thing, Pajemski, and then things started rolling for the Warriors. But that's what Stephen Curry does, is that in the midst of uncertainty for the rest of his team, you can count on him to be a solid distributor and contributor to the offense. And so I feel like regardless of how the Warriors the Lakers were playing defense on the Warriors, Stephen was going to find his way around.
And also just the way that he helps calm down the guys around him.
Yeah.
He's that veteran presence. He's the leader that this team needs, not just in the way he plays, but also the way that he directs guys around him and just is in the locker room. It's such a huge piece for this Warriors team.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it wasn't just Steph Curry, though, who was hitting from beyond the arc. It was a lot of Steph Curry, but in general, the Warriors' three-point shooting much hotter in the month of February. They're shooting more than 40% from beyond the arc. Good for third in the NBA. They got it going in this game. And Draymond Green, one of the guys who's been hot. I mean, what is it that's allowed the Warriors' other shooters besides Steph to start knocking these down?
Kylen, the inside-out game. You see this right here.
Preach.
Jonathan Kuminga on the block, being able to draw defenders and then kick it out. You see this again. Draymond on the extended block, cross-court pass to Andrew Wiggins, and then another kick. That makes defense have to react. And when defense is flying around, at one point, they're going to get lost, and someone's going to be left wide open. And that happened several times tonight. So anytime that the Warriors bring the ball inside, whether it's someone posting up on the block, or it's a Brandon Pajemski or Stephen Curry going down the middle of the paint and making defenders keep them honest, coming in and collapsing in, that opens things up on the outside. And when you've got Draymond Green hitting threes,
Oh, honey, yes.
that's when, that is exactly when the Warriors are the most dangerous, when everybody is making the defense respect what's going on the offensive side.
Draymond Green is shooting more than 40% from beyond the arc. Yeah, it might not be high volume,
yes, he
but
is.
still, when he goes 2 for 2, he keeps the defense honest.
Yes.
He spreads everything out, and in a game like this, can take away a guy like Anthony Davis from underneath the basket. I mean, when you've even got Draymond Green going, that's when you know you have a recipe for success. Earl here on Dubs Talk Live, presented by Mancini Sleep World. We are going to take a quick break. Coming up, we're going to talk about the Warriors' interior defense, because it's not just scoring in the paint. They've got to defend the paint as well to be successful down the stretch. We'll be back in just a quick minute.
You are good.
Oh, thank you.
Girl.
Does it seem like I haven't been here all season?
I mean,
Like I
man,
have.
you're here. You know it, girl. Also, you've been watching. You've been watching. You've been paying
I
attention.
have.
Also, I think we're on YouTube, right?
Yes, we are.
What's up, YouTube?
So, hey, hope you guys are celebrating with us.
Exactly.
We're
I'm just like,
enjoying-
how good is she, guys? She's amazing. I'm taking notes. I'm literally
We're
taking notes.
enjoying the Warriors' performance.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying being here because the NBC Sports Bay Area team crushes it every single time. So.
Well, we appreciate you joining us and elevating us always. It's always fun. All right, YouTube. I'm sure they're feeling good.
Okay, great. Do you have the link?
Flo,
I
do you have the
not.
link?
Okay, perfect. I would say I do not have
No
the link,
worries.
so that's the only
We'll get
thing.
you
If you're
guys.
commenting, appreciate you guys being here.
Oh, they're
We'll
definitely
get those up.
commenting.
Okay, good.
We got
Well,
a little.
hopefully
We got a
everyone's
YouTube
feeling good.
fam. You know,
Yeah.
they love us. They're with us. It's a thing. All right, let's open up Dubs Talk Live. Flo, you let us know if you text it or email it. Okay, here we go. Well, we are here, y'all. All right, guys are finding their rhythm. D says, Adriana says, go girls. Thanks, Adriana. Dino Manrique, hi from the Philippines. Kylen and Zena. D, giving you props. Kylen is amazing. Her and on other platforms as well.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yes, let's see. Pafita says, I am so happy for Wiggs. It's
Yeah,
real.
seriously.
It's real. Like you
Start to
see this.
the smile a little
Yeah.
bit. You see the confidence building. Like that's the biggest thing for him. I feel like he never lost his physical ability,
Yep.
just the confidence.
Exactly. And for those asking where KB is, she is enjoying Hawaii. She'll be back soon.
Yes, she will be back. Welcome back into Dubs Talk Live, presented by Mancini Sleep World. Appreciate you being here, hanging out with Zena, Keita, Kylen Mills. Glad to have you. And we got to talk about the Warriors' defense now. We got a lot into the offense in that first segment, but also they have to be able to defend, to be able to close out teams. And it's a big issue that we've seen for the Warriors, especially in close games. A lot of times they struggle to string together stops that are needed to close out. Now, in this game in particular, the Lakers were able to get into the paint, 58 points inside. What needs to change for the Dubs?
There's got to be an ability to stop the ball sooner. And this is going to be a struggle because the Warriors aren't a huge team. And now that the buyout market is no longer really a conversation, especially with Lester Quinones being signed, this is the squad that's got to take them to the playoffs. And which means that they've got to find a way to make this team look and feel bigger. And it's possible. You've just got to play big. And this is something that coaches, growing up, arms out on defense, right? But it's also how you hedge. It's also how you play the lanes. It's also how you just make teams feel like they have to deter away from going inside the paint because it feels like it's not an option. It can be an illusion, but that's what the Warriors have to create, is the illusion that the paint is not as easy to penetrate as it looks. And that's what's happening right now, especially in transition. The Warriors are finding themselves in a backpedal type of situation, and teams are just going at them in the middle, up their throats, and they're not ready. And what happens? Fouls. You look down at the foul breakdown. This was last time they played the Lakers. That was the issue, was the foul discrepancy there. But again, tonight, 21 opportunities at the free throw line versus 14 for the Warriors. And the Warriors were also getting in the paint, right?
Yeah.
But it's a difference of when people getting in the paint and then they get fouled. Why? Because the Warriors aren't ready on defense. So they've got to find a way to make themselves look big, give that illusion early before players get too deep into the paint and then have their way with the Warriors' interior defense.
When it comes to the Warriors defending a 7-footer or an Anthony Davis, a player who is so elite inside, who are the others that need to step up besides Draymond Green and Jonathan Kuminga? I know that's something I was asking you before we came on was, well, in the minutes that they're not on the floor, Anthony Davis was really able to get going. He had 13 points in just the first quarter of this game, ended up slowing down a little bit towards the end, but still, who else are the others that can step up and defend some of those bigger post players? Because that's one thing that immediately jumps to my mind is the fact that the Warriors aren't super deep or super big in the front court.
Well, that's one of the things that's most exciting about Trayce Jackson-Davis is that he's someone that can play big. He's someone that has that vertical ability and that size to be able to play a bigger player like an Anthony Davis. But what's interesting about a player like Anthony Davis, and of course if Joel Embiid was healthy, you think about a Jokic, these type of players are also players that like to play outside. And if you saw what Anthony Davis's shot chart looked like, his points were inside. But he had many a shots outside. He tried many a shots in that mid-range area, and that's what you want to force. Those type of players, those 7-footers with interior and exterior ability, let them be exterior players. Let them take that shot, and that's what you saw Draymond doing a lot of. You saw Kevon doing a lot of. Play them earlier. And I don't know if you know what this means by play them earlier. With those type of players, you got to start making your defensive move way before they even get in position. Right? So it's not waiting until Anthony Davis is cutting through the paint. You're finding a way to get yourself in between where he's trying to go before he even makes his first step. You're trying to think ahead of the defense. It's one of the things that Draymond Green does so impeccably well, but that's what you want to do. You want to start thinking ahead for a player like that so they can't get to their position easy.
That's exactly what Trayce Jackson-Davis pointed out about why the team has been better defensively since Draymond Green returned and now is back in the starting lineup following his suspension. It's just the fact that he has that ability to think ahead defensively and then direct the players around him. He is that point guard on the defensive side, and then now he's also knocking down shots on the offensive end. Can Draymond Green be stopped down the stretch?
I don't know. It's a really great question because I'm seeing Draymond Green become the Draymond Green that was first entering the draft, and entering the NBA. Mm-hmm. Someone that was confident in his shot, someone that was confident in his ability to play offense just as much as defense. And something that he's never lost is that confidence in the game overall, right? And just that aggression that he has as a team leader, as a floor director, as a captain of what's going on. He's never lost that. But there was an element of his offensive game that he lost. And so it's really great to be able to see that come back just as he's also pulling in everything that you need him to do, which is stay focused on the game. Make sure that you're elevating your teammates. Make sure that you continue to be that floor captain that's directing traffic on both ends of the floor. And so it's really exciting to see him become all the elements of a Draymond Green that you knew he was capable of way back when he first got drafted. And now it's coming back. Especially, when you've got Kevin Durant no longer on your team and no longer being another three-point threat, he can now step back into that role. Because if you look at some old highlights of Draymond, he was doing it, right? Like we talk often about like Kevon Looney and Milwaukee Loon. Yeah. Draymond has that same type of played highlight role and everything. So he also looks like his old self, and it's really exciting to see.
Go back to Michigan State, Draymond Green.
Exactly.
I mean, there was something there offensively. Tonight he finishes with 8 points, 7 boards, 5 assists, doing a little bit of everything for the Warriors. But he pointed out to you in your post-game interview, continuing that aggression is going to be super important for him. A huge night. Another player who had a huge night, Jonathan Kuminga. I mean, he started out slow in this game, but you saw him get going in the second half. And you want to talk about a player who can get going in transition, quick first step, can get to the basket. And this is a team that just needs him to continue to be aggressive.
For sure. Absolutely.
Well, let's now check in with Steph Curry, who's on the podium, to see what he had to say after the team's win over the Lakers.
I mean, I've never been what they call him, like a foul baiter or worried about selling calls. And I haven't really obsessed over. I've made jokes like when I got 2 free throws a day, I cheered, and let out a nice little yell, just being sarcastic. But mostly, there's maybe been like 2 or 3 possessions in the last 3 games where like, oh, it should have been a foul, and then you get distracted by arguing with the ref or whatever it is. I've been trying to not even engage in that, and for the most part, it's helped because you can't control whether you get there or not. And you still gotta, do what you need to do to, help your team win, make an impact, score the ball, whatever it is. So it's nice to have this window where no matter if I'm getting there or not, I'm still shooting, efficiently and getting where I need to on the floor. But if there are foul calls, I hope that they're called. So it's just one of those, don't get distracted by it type of mentalities.
You ever seen Klay specifically pass as well to somebody as he seems to be connecting with Trace?
For sure. I don't have specific examples, but even early in his career, there was that off season where he came back and he was running pin downs, and he had that was his favorite thing to do. The one dribble pocket pass or over the top. Maybe it's to Bogues back in the day. But I heard that he told Trace pregame, if he sets good screens for him, he knows that he still demands the attention. Klay does, coming off of pin downs, and he's a threat to shoot at any point. But he was so decisive with what he wanted to do with the ball and getting to Trace on time, and Trace was doing the rest. So I like that he had fun doing it, and that he appreciated the fact that he that's the option that he has on offense if his shots falling or not falling, no matter what it looks like.
Kerr said that he kind of talked to you guys the last few days, maybe it was yesterday, where you are in the standings, how many games are left, maybe strength of schedule, whatever you talk about. And he said 6 seed, a goal, or I don't know if he said a realistic goal. How much are you thinking tangibly about getting to 6? How much do you think that's likely, or do you just want to be playing well and it doesn't matter what seed you're going to be?
He had a great speech about all of that yesterday. The way I approach it, that is the 6 seed is the goal, because that obviously takes you out, it guarantees you a spot in the series, and that's what we want. But in the way our season's gone, taking a big goal and breaking it down, this is probably the ultimate test of stay right where you are, win every game that's in front of you. Build up, a joy and an energy and, momentum. But that's a slow process because we really haven't. There's confidence, but we haven't proven that. We've won 9 out of 11, and this is a good window that we've had. But literally every game matters for us to do that. So I think I'm just trying to enjoy what's happening each game, understanding what it's going to take to win that particular game. It's a lofty goal, but we know, we can't get there.
Speaking of
28 games to go, 28 opportunities for the Warriors to climb towards that 6th seed, and it all starts tomorrow with the Charlotte Hornets, the second end of a back-to-back. Zena and I will break it all down next here on Dubstop Live.
Hello, YouTube. Okay, so no, they're here.
Oh.
I'm looking at the screen
Right,
where you
right,
can see
right.
the comments. So hello.
No
So hello in the
worries. Okay, Katrina Marks, I wonder how coach will spread the minutes when CP3 comes back. This is definitely a huge topic right now. And there's this concept of, Clay and CP3 being holding down the second unit. I like it. That's a deep bench. I mean,
Yeah.
Hall of Famers right there as your second unit. When you think about what you need in the postseason,
Yeah.
long term, being able to
Depth.
have a set depth, that's what you need. Now, there's two things: having a solid bench and having solid size. One of the other for the Warriors,
Okay,
right?
my question is, if you're Steve Kerr, how are you deciding who's in the rotation night in and night out? Like, are you going matchup based? Do you want to build consistency?
Right.
You know what I mean? Going into the postseason.
The thing about when you go matchup based, it does make a lot of sense to go matchup based because you're looking at, okay, what does make sense? But however, the problem with going matchup based is that you can lack consistency. Whereas if you have, based on whomever you're playing, they're more athletic, so we're going to go with the younger starting crew, a team that may not have had a lot of practice reps together, a team that may not have had a lot of opportunities to play in the court together. Not wonderful. Versus someone that have been through the trenches together. They know how to close. They know what to do in in-game situations at the very end of a shot clock or end of a quarter or you need those type of reps. And that can sometimes overcome the fact that you might not be properly matched against your defender or your opponent. So.
Warriors hoping to play some of their best basketball down the stretch of the season. Welcome back into Dubs Talk Live, brought to you by Mancini Sleep World. A look at the upcoming schedule. So it's a win over the Lakers, but it is the first half of a back-to-back. Charlotte Hornets tomorrow. Now, that Nuggets game going to be a big one everyone has circled, but still you have to take care of business at home. You have to beat the teams like the Wizards, like the Raptors, who are maybe bottom feeders in the West, but you cannot overlook those types of opponents. Those can be trap games. How do the Warriors close out this last stretch strong?
And that's the thing with teams that have nothing to lose. Charlotte is in the bottom half. Exactly. They're in the bottom 5 of the NBA and the East. They will come in here with something on their shoulder, with a chip on their shoulder. So you definitely want to make sure you keep the consistency, keep the energy, keep the focus for the end of this next 28 games.
So looking at tomorrow's matchup, specifically, who needs to step up?
All of them.
Everybody. You heard it here. You heard it here. 7 o'clock Pacific time is tip-off as the Warriors will host the Charlotte Hornets tomorrow. Appreciate you hanging with us here on Dubs Talk Live, brought to you by Mancini Sleep World. For Zena, I'm Kylen. Thanks for hanging with us. We'll be right back here tomorrow, so don't go anywhere.
All righty. So it said, hey, Damnick, I'm thinking that's how you say it, Damnick. Get Clay and TJD major time off the bench. How much did you love that matchup tonight?
Yeah, love it. I mean, I
They were a
actually
duo.
think that the 6th man role can be a great role for Klay Thompson. And he's recently said that he's trying to embrace it, but I feel like this could unlock a different Klay. What do you think about him taking on this bench role?
Well, I saw him tonight make deferments to other players.
Yeah.
Him coming off of curls and screens and being open and saying, you know what, I'm 1 for 9, or whatever he was at the time, and saying TJD's open.
Yeah.
This is a better option here. This is a higher percentage shot here. That's what you want to see Clay doing. That's the type of basketball that's going to elevate them and be able to get them going in the long run, is rather than someone being focused on their own offense, or rather than someone being focused on trying to be the version of themselves that has been successful for them in the past.
Yeah.
Let me be the version of myself that's been successful this season, and with the personnel that we have, in the situation and the circumstances that we're in. So I love this Klay Thompson that's thinking through, is this a better shot for me, for my team, et cetera? And we know he's capable of this. He's done this multiple times. And right now, this is the new type of firepower you're coming out, right? Steve said he wants firepower from Klay coming off the bench. Tonight it wasn't offensively, but it damn sure was from a distribution standpoint.
I mean, to your point, though, about him maybe passing up looks that he would have taken before, in times past when Klay is not hitting, he's struggling, going 1 of 9, he'll try to force things. I need to score, I need to score, I need to help the team. This is what I need to be doing, and I'm going to throw it up wherever I am, even if it's a tough shot on the run with hands in my face. Now starting to see him shift that thinking, I think, is the biggest thing for him to bring in that mentality. Like, it's okay if I'm not the second leading scorer every night. I can impact the game in other ways. And if my shot isn't falling, let's not force it. That, to me, is the big thing, is just him shifting in his mind. Like, I don't have to score every possession. You know what I mean?
We are seeing a player evolve in front of our eyes. And it's very rare to be able to see a player from the start of their career to this point of their career where they're no longer the person that is needed, right? And don't get me wrong, the Warriors still absolutely need Klay. They just don't need the Klay that he has been, right?
And that's okay.
And that's okay. And so we're literally getting to see the evolution of a player from being that guy and coming into a role of, let me be this guy instead, and being someone that is going to still be impactful and helpful and valuable, but in a different way. So it's really cool that we get to watch this. And I know the word mortality of his career, mortality. I don't necessarily want to look at it as a mortality as much as I want to look at it as an evolution. I just watched a lot of Harry Potter, and I'm thinking about like the Phoenix Rising, and just a little shift. It's a different shift. That's it.
So which character is Klay exactly?
Well, I mean, I'm just thinking about Dumbledore.
Okay.
I'm just thinking about how Dumbledore had to,
now he's
become the. There you go. There we go. Just shifting into, the Phoenix and just rising out of a different life that he lived. So that's all.
I love that. And I think you got to give a lot of kudos to Klay Thompson. Now 2 games coming off the bench for the first time since his rookie season. He's handled it all very maturely. In speaking on the podium, he's talked about how he wants to embrace that role, and hopefully we'll see him continue to flourish in that role moving forward. Well, thanks everyone for hanging with us here on YouTube. Appreciate you hanging on Dubs Talk Live, and we will see you tomorrow night once again.
Hi, guys.